before we commence with the storytelling of your book.
Hey Vivek, I gave him 3 jokes. He's already cracked one. He's got only 2 more left. Keep track of that one, please. This one is over. No more cracks at me. Okay. So what was the question?
So by the end of 1948, when Hyderabad came into the India's fold, the map of the country was almost drawn, except Goa, Daman, Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli.
And the French were part because they went in 52.
These were the places which actually practically did not form part of the map of the country. What took 13 years for these places to figure? You know, this thing of history which you very nicely brought out, the issue of Hyderabad, the struggle, the people were looking over their shoulders, getting weapons from overseas, and you know, it's a very good storytelling. Please educate everybody on this aspect of history.
See, 15th of August 1947, we all celebrate as Independence Day because that is the day the British left India. However, not all of the country was independent as on 15th of August 1947. Because A, there were the states which refused to merge. There was Junagadh, there was Hyderabad, there was Kashmir, which happened over 1 year. Then there were the French who were there in Pondicherry, they were there in Chandranagar and other places. They left very peacefully in 48, and by 52, I think all the French possessions were under Indian control. What was left was Goa, Daman, Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, which were under the Portuguese. And the Portuguese just refused to go. There was a legal thing in it, which is that the Portuguese Parliament passed a law which stated that defined Portugal as a multi-continent, multi-location country, which meant that Goa, Daman, Diu, Dadra, Nagar Haveli were not colonies of Portugal. They were Portugal itself. They were Portugal. And Portugal was part of NATO. Therefore, if anybody attacked a NATO country, then all the countries were honor bound to retaliate, treaty bound to retaliate. So Nehru, as Prime Minister, did not want to perpetrate an international incident of this size because he was very sure that India did not at that time have the wherewithal or the political courage, or call it what you like, to take on all of NATO. One sec, I'll switch this off. Yeah. And when you are doing this kind of thing, it is inevitable here, spam call. It almost always is. Okay, so he did not have the wherewithal to attack Portugal itself, as though located in India. And therefore, from 1947 to 1961, Goa, Daman and Diu remained under Portuguese control. And Dadra and Nagar Haveli were liberated by these 20 odd boys in 1954. So 7 years down the line, Dadra and Nagar Haveli was independent, and 1961, Goa, Daman and Diu was captured. Now this may seem a very small, insignificant thing, in the sense that there were only 72 villages, 500 square kilometers, and a population of 20,000. But there are 2 aspects to the story. One is the fact that so few fought against so many. And the so many had so many resources while these few had nothing. So there is that element of bravery, courage, putting your life on line that is involved in the story. And there is also the fact that had the liberation of Goa, of Dadra Nagar Haveli not happened, later on Goa, Daman, Diu would still have remained under Portuguese possession. They wouldn't have been able to liberate it. And the reason for that, again, geopolitically, is that Portugal, after this was liberated in 1954, the Portuguese went to the World Court. And in the World Court, they claimed that this territory was Portugal, and since it was invaded by Indian mercenaries, they had the right to go through Indian territory, send their army, and throw out these mercenaries. This case went on in the World Court for 7 years. During which period, these boys went to Pune, because the Dadra Nagar Haveli was transferred to the Portuguese by the Peshwa for some treaty reasons. I've got that in the book. So these boys went back to Pune, looked over historical documents, and took out a treaty provision which said that Dadra and Nagar Haveli was not a Portuguese possession because it was merely given out on lease to the Portuguese to collect revenue. When this was established in a court of law, the court ruled in India's favor, and then India also got the moral position through which it could send its armies into Goa Damanadiv. So it's a small incident which actually laid the base for a much larger event. That is the merger of the last colonial occupied territory into India. So it's a small thing which led to something huge.